Boa tarde, bem-vindos. Vamos sentando. A ideia aqui é um bate-papo e pegar um pouquinho da experiência deles. Na verdade, quem iria fazer essa conversa era o Tilleman. Acho que todos sabem, o Tilleman teve um acidente e não pôde vir. A gente, thank you. A gente teve uma substituição. Então, a gente vai fazer algo menos formal, que não tem o material, mas acho que vai ser melhor ainda porque a gente conseguiu trazer um cavalo e eles vão, com o cavalo aqui, eles vão falar um pouco como eles observam, o que eles vão dar importância, etc. Se alguém tiver dúvida com a língua, estou à disposição, se eu puder ajudar. Se alguém não entender alguma coisa, é só perguntar e realmente a ideia é um bate-papo. Furtino? Presidente, cadê você? Apresente-os.
O pitch? Ok. Então, boa tarde, boa noite já, né? Já são mais de 6 horas, obrigado pela presença. Como o Marcelo falou, a gente estava com um programa lá do Luke Tilleman, mas ele teve esse acidente e não pôde trazer o material e ia fazer a apresentação. Então, nós vamos fazer esse bate-papo. A gente tem um cavalo que a gente vai tentar mostrar e eles tentarem mostrar como é que eles fazem o julgamento e as experiências que ele tem em outros studybooks, como eles fazem também. Tom Lemes trabalha, é superintendente e vice-presidente lá do studbook do Zangershire. O Stein, sorry, ele também é um juiz já formado e por diversas vezes já julgou lá no Zangershire também. Assim, o currículo dele é um descobridor de talentos, né? Ele tem uma experiência muito grande com cavalos novos e descobrir esses talentos. E também organiza leilão lá no Woodland, que é um leilão bem importante na Bélgica, que acho que são cavalos só montados. Ele com o Nils é um super cavaleiro belga também. Enfim, tem bastante conhecimento. E o Pete, todo mundo conhece também, é um ex-técnico da seleção do Brasil, mas com currículo, cavaleiro da Ratina Z, tem uma história muito grande ali no hipismo. Então ele também vai nos ajudar, tem bastante passagens. Ele começou a vida dele como ferrador, então ele tem realmente uma experiência muito grande sobre aprumos, sobre correções de aprumos e o que interfere, o que não interfere. Então fica à vontade de conversar com eles. Hoje é um bate-papo, é uma coisa para a gente trocar informações e é por aí. Eles vão fazer uma pequena explanação, é isso, Marcelo? Vamos começar? E o Marcelo vai fazer a tradução. Se tiverem alguma dúvida ou perguntas no decorrer, podem ir fazendo, né, Marcelo? Então tá bom. Obrigado.
Tom?
It will try to show you.
Okay, but it's not really necessary. You can start from your experience and next time.
Hello, good evening. My name is Tom Lemons.
Alguém precisa de tradução? Tá tudo bem? Se há qualquer dúvida, vocês levantam a mão e eu vou resolvendo. Fechou?
I don't know what he asked you, but it's okay. My name is Tom Lemons. I'm working for, I think, 15 years for Zangerzijde as a vice president of Studbook Zangerzijde. We're organizing the auctions for foals and for young horses, broodmares. I'm always, in the last 10 years, I'm always there together with the judges for the stallion approvals and also for the auction selections. And this weekend I will be here to judge the stallions at the show. So yeah,
Good evening, everybody. I am Stijn van Kampenhout. I'm a breeder at first thing, and I'm also scouting whole year round for the auction that I'm organizing with Niels Bruinseels, the 5-star rider. We are all year long looking for very talented young horses from 3 year on, but most of all ridden horses from 4 to 7. That's mainly what I do during the year. And since 3 years, I'm invited for the Zangerzijde Stallion approval. And I've been judging together with Eric Levallois, which you know from Diamant de Semilly. And recently also Tim Rieskamp, very famous German rider, together with Tom also. We've been judging the stallion approvals in Belgium, in France, which is actually a very interesting thing. And I'm also very delighted that we are welcomed here to judge the Brazilian stallion approval together with Pete, actually. Very interesting because we've been discussing already today a few important things. And I'm also very interested to see the details that Pete is watching for during stallion approvals.
Hello, everybody. My name is Piet Rijmakers. I was a former jumping rider. Now I'm I'm training many riders for the moment. I was 1 year chef de keep from Brazil, but last year, but that stopped. About judging horses all my life. I was judging horses all my life. I had myself approved stallions. So I try to help in this whatever I can. So any question is a good question, and I think altogether we can learn a lot, and it will be a help for everything. Any question again is good.
Okay, let's go to the horses. Do you have something to show?
I think I was yes. This is a little bit a picture from Holland. From how the, let's say, the ideal horse should be, from nose till tail. It's I think it's quite important to always keep that in your mind when you choose a horse. It's actually a very nice article to learn from how the horse should be the most economic build, in everything, and they last long. It as well. It counts as well for a dressage or for a jumper, but in this case, of course, it's important the jumper. Yeah, and okay, I think you as a vet, because I think the most people are a vet. So for sure, in your books as well, you have especially the legs, the standing of the legs is important. The feet is important because they are walking all day on that. So it's yeah, it's but it's I think it's good to look at, how it should be. Yeah, but I think better they can ask questions instead of that because maybe they know the picture, and I think from practice it's more important to know some things, but maybe change a little bit, but which is maybe good, and little thing can change which is not good. I think if they are brave enough to ask questions, I think it's very important.
Yeah, indeed. So if you have any questions, we will go and see the horse also in walk, in trot, things where we look at when we judge a horse. What Pete shows here is a very good picture of the picture perfect horse, in fact. Okay, every horse we see on the high level in the sport is different, and there is not one way to success. There are horses with a conformation of the neck that is built different than another horse or with a bag. And those exceptions, they're always there. And it's not because a horse has maybe not that beautiful back that that we cannot use them as a sport horse. But what is important when we judge stallions, that we judge them as close as possible to the picture perfect model. They will breed mares with another conformation, and you get foals with a conformation hopefully in between. But as a stallion judge, we judge them different than when we would buy a horse. But when you buy a horse for sport, maybe you look different at the horse. But as we judge stallions, we always try as close as possible to the picture perfect model. And what we see here as well, when we see a horse, we get the horse in front of us. We look at the neck, the conformation of the back. If it's not too deep, we look in the recent years, we look during the stallion approval a lot to the length of the, how you call it, Marcelo, the fetlock, under the fetlock, the how you call it? Pastern, yeah. So that's not too weak, not too long, because we see in the recent years, and that's also in mostly in Europe, because we used certain stallions a lot, that we see that the pasterns are getting too long, too weak, and that the horses don't keep it in the sport. They're fantastic jumpers with who are comfortable to ride until 5 years old. But maybe after that, they already break. They don't last in the sport. And that's also important when we judge a good stallion. The conformation, they have to last in the sport. That's really important, because it's so expensive to raise a horse, to train a horse. If you end up with a horse that can jump until he's 16 years old, or you have a horse that breaks at 10 years old, it's a big difference in your wallet. So that's the reason why we are looking for a picture perfect and interesting sport model, I think. So the pasterns, it's something that we look at very hard in the last years, the back, and the rest we can see in of course the legs, the foot, the conformation of the foot, and the rest we can see on the horse, I think.
Yeah, I think actually Tom has been talking about a few very important things. I think we should keep in mind that there is the perfect picture perfect idea, but for sure things can be different, as discussed already this afternoon with Pete. He saw so many horses in his career which had like different remarks that you could say, and that you would wonder, is this important or not? Can these horses bring it far in sport? Can they last for a long time? And I think that's important also to look together once to the horse that is waiting for us, and to talk about things that can be different but can be acceptable. Because for sure, we close to never see the picture perfect horse in front of us. We try to approve whenever possible a very talented horse, because you would never like to miss a very good talent. But for a breeding stallion, at least, it should be within acceptable remarks, if there are remarks. So this is the balance we are always looking for together and discussing all the time about, to see what is within acceptable.
That's also the reason we were talking about that yesterday as well together. The reason why we organize stallion approvals in Belgium, it's not to tell the breeders you have to use this or this horse, but for us it's most to help the breeders and to give them a guideline. First of all, the X-rays. Breeders have to send in the X-rays. That's acceptable. I will not say that the horse that has not the perfect X-ray will not become a very good horse, but if you have a horse that is breeding sometimes 700,000 horses in his career, then every detail that is not ideal is spreading around very fast, and we will never tell the breeders which stallion they should use. They are smarter than us, and they proved already to breed the best horses in the world. But we will just help them, and we will take out maybe the excesses. That's, I think, the most important. that we will help them, and they know if a horse is approved for the Brazilian stud book or is a horse is approved for stud book Zangerzijde, for example, that he is that he has a certain quality. On the X-rays, you know that there is no OCD in the horse. You know that that the conformation is looked at by a team of veterinarians, and that everything is okay. So a breeder that uses a horse approved for the Brazilian stud book or for stud book Zangerzijde, he can choose. He see the horse jumping, but he has to know that different judges looked at the horse and that the conformation and the soundness is already acceptable and good. That's a security that we need to give to the breeders. I think that's the most important job for us. In Zangerzijde we always worked with a team of 4 international judges, often people who came from the sport or who earned money already in the breeding, people who scout the young horses like Stan or Luc Tilleman, who has his own stallion station. And we always use the three international different judges. But since 2 years, we listen even more to the vets. We have a team of 3 vets from renowned practices, really good vets, sport vets, and they look on the first day. They look together with us to all the horses, on the conformation, in the walk, in the trot, and after that the X-rays. The vets together with the judges go through the whole list of horses, and together we decide which horse can go to day 2 to free jump, and that's important. Sometimes you have a horse that for the judges can pass, and the vet says no, for us it's unacceptable due to a conformation of a foot that is not correct or due to some X-rays. So since the last 2 years, we work even stronger and more together with the vets on the first day. I think that's important to know that for a breeder that gives the security.
I have a question about front legs and about pastern conformation. In your opinion, what is the worst problem that you can have? Like you just told about the length, and about angles. In your opinion, and Pete, we talk about this today. What is the worst problem, and which problem that sometimes we are talking about? Oh, this is a problem, but in your opinion, it's not. I don't know if you have something that it's worst and something that for you it's okay.
Again, I think when you have a sport horse and when he's a little bit towed out on both sides, you will accept him. He will be a perfect sport horse if the horse is jumping well, and if he don't have problems with this and is a little bit towed out or towed in. I don't think that should be a really big problem. But when we're looking at the stallion approval, with the risk that the stallion will bring 1,000 foals or 2,000 foals, and the breeder uses him on a mare that is maybe also already too much, you probably will sometimes get the excesses. For myself, I don't have a problem that the horse is a little bit towed out or towed in as a sport horse, but as a judge, we try to have the perfect horse, and that is sometimes even if both sides are the same, it's less important than when you have a horse that is on one side correct and straight and on the other side completely towed out. That can give a problem in the health and with the jumping. But when both sides are the same, it should not always be a big problem, I think.
I completely agree. But again, it's very important because especially the front legs, I mean, they are, especially with jumping horses, they are landing, so yes, it should be the most important thing is that they are both equal. And okay, I have a little bit another thing about it. I mean, tone in, not, they normally they never will break, but tone out, they hurt by going fast. They hurt the inside of the inside of the other leg. So yes, I would never accept it as a father animal. Yeah, it's very, very important. That's number one. Then, of course, like you said, the length of the pattern should be, and then also the angle of the foot. First of all, you need a very good foot. You need, from the top from the foot going a bit out, not big flat feet, but good, and they have to stand. It should be like 45 degrees, and the pattern should be in the same length, in the same, and that maybe can change 5 degrees, but it should be the same. It's very important. Plus, then if you go higher up, the front knees, they can be a little bit going forward, but they never can be like this, never be back, because that hurts and that will break. So these things but you see very quick. You see very quick that even when they stand still, and they have so that's in front, and then behind. Okay, you should. It's very important that they say the point the farthest point away, and you go down to the hock and to the fetlock should be one line. Now don't look at the left leg. Look at the right leg. It's standing perfect. It's one line straight up. you know and that's also very important that the horse can do that. The hock is not behind the horse when he stands still. It's under the horse, and little things like this you can see in one moment. Poof, you see the leg, and then everything is correct. The knee, the hock, and going down. So these things you need quick to see.
Maybe just to explain why don't you want that the hock is behind? Okay, of course it's clear, but just to explain what it brings as a sport horse, what could the problem could be?
That the horse is very difficult to put him on his hind leg, because then the hind leg is behind, and then you have to hold too much to bring it under. Plus, then most of the time the hind leg is too long, so if it's under, it doesn't work. It can't have the whole body. So it's very a jumping horse can have a little bit straighter hook than maybe a dressage horse, but this is actually very good. It should be close to this, the hind leg. Yeah.
I totally agree with what my colleagues just told. Like these are the most common things that we are watching all the time, and I do think that it's like Pete says, it should all come close to what you see there. You can discuss small exceptions, but it should come close to that in order to end up with a sound horse and a horse that can expose its talents in the ring.
Yeah. And what I understand is most of you are vets, so you should already learned how the ideal horse is looking, and if you work every day with horses, then for sure from practice what is the weak point when when the horse have a weak point, from what it comes. Yeah. So I mean, uh, again, this is the ideal horse, but there are things which is not bad at all, but it's important, when you start with the head, that's a the the downside from the head. It's open so that he easy can do this. You always can put a fist there, so little things, simple things like that, so you very quick can judge a horse, and especially when you work every day with horses. I mean, you can see, it's important.
Some horses that in the behind, they when they walk with just with the front of the hoof. They don't. And we have some breeders that they walk like this. No, just with the front of the hoof. They don't touch the behind of the hoof. What do you think about this?
Yeah. That's not natural. I mean, something is done wrong for sure. I mean, I don't know why the horse does it. But okay, yeah. But normally if he walks only on the tone of his foot, that's, yeah. it's or a matter of the blacksmith, but that's not normal. I mean, of course, I saw it in my life, but then the horse is sick.
I saw some horse like this in, let's say, in the competition here.
Yeah.
But not really, like, it's not really a big thing. It's like a detail.
Yeah.
And I was asking how you do it. You know, it's not a very big thing. It's not a
Yeah. I
deficiency.
think that it's everyone agreed that's not normal.
Yes.
In my opinion and in my experience, I think one of the best horses that I take care walk like this one. He walk. It was a Clinton. Uh, he was a really really special horse, and this is true. Clinton, yes. And but this horse jumped Olympic Games, jumped, and he walked like this, just with the front of the hoof, and he was amazing, really amazing. Continuing with hind legs, in your opinions, what is not accepted?
Yeah. No, again, okay, you give me the mic. First of all, I want to say something about this. I mean, what your question still, as a judge of stallions, I mean, the moment you see a stallion walk like that, you don't accept. You say thank you very much, but I mean, and maybe the horse can do a top conformation in the sport, but it's not for breeding. You don't want horses foals who standing on the tone. You don't want. You want to have them natural on the ground. Yeah, and okay, yeah. What is not acceptable behind is when they have some things when they have two straight hocks, or they have the knee behind very low, very low. It's very difficult to develop power. And like we discussed, you have horses when you go behind, they are like a cow. They stand like a cow. That is for the sport also no good. And the other way around, we discussed. Sometimes you have the horse when they move and they do a little bit like that. That is for me, and I'm an old-fashioned farmer, is no problem. But it's not so that we are looking for that.
Yeah.
But if they do it, for me, is that no problem. Not if they like, but a little bit sometimes. They boom, boom. That's. But if the other way around, that's weakness. That's weakness. So it's also very difficult to motivate to get them under you, and to make them sit. Yeah. So but these things you can see very quickly. It's yeah, that for me not acceptable. So yeah, let's say the knee too low, the hock too straight, and then when they're standing with the hocks against each other. Yeah.
I totally agree with what Pete brings. Maybe I can say once again that the length of pastern also for the hind leg is for sure also something to keep in mind. You don't want it too weak, you don't want it too straight. Yeah, it's like everything in life, balanced is the best.
Yeah. And especially, I think that especially for a stallion, when you have the hock.
Can you tell us which kind of pathology it's gonna be red?
Yeah, I'm not a vet, of course, but for example, in Zangerzijde, they don't accept any OCDs.
Any OCDs?
Any OCDs. Sometimes in the fetlock, a small OCD on a good place they can accept, but beside that, in general, they don't accept any OCDs. When there is OCD in the stifle or in the hock, or OC in the stifle or in the hock, it's immediately out already. That's not acceptable. Yeah. So in general, any OCD we don't accept. OC for sometimes in the fetlock, a small OCD they on the right place they can accept, but in stifle or in hock OCD, the horse is not accepted at all.
And if okay, he had an OCD and In that moment, he has not anymore.
They can of course judge what they see, and that's always the difficult thing. But that's with everything in life. You can judge what you see, but you don't see, you don't know. And if it's done very well, of course they will miss. But in general, when an OCD is removed in a stifle or in a hock, they will see it. They're experienced enough to see it, and when they see that the X-rays is made in a certain angle and they doubt about it, they will make a new X-ray from it. And okay, of course you will always miss, and you have always people who try to cheat, but that's you can't avoid that, I think.
Questions? No? Let's go to the horse.
Som.
So first thing I asked Pete, what do you think about the front leg conformation? Like, is it for you a problem or not? And actually, he talked to me straight away. Just not. It's just okay.
Borderline. It's borderline. If you watch, you can say maybe he's a bit already. That leg is okay. This leg is maybe already a little bit backwards. Plus, it's voila. It's quite thin here. It's let's say from here it's getting bigger. Not because he's hurt, or it should be. This should be like the knee should be a plate, and like the should be big, and for it to be strong, this should be not I don't know the word in English, ingesnoerd. Ja, dat weet ik ook niet, natuurlijk niet. Dames, ingesnoerd, weet ik ook niet hoe dat heet. Anyway, but you know what I mean, eh? Yeah.
Frescura. E da composição, ele está falando do joelho transcurvo e da composição que ele acha que esse joelho, principalmente o esquerdo, principalmente o joelho esquerdo, um pouquinho transcurvo, e precisava ser um joelho mais forte e mais homogêneo na sua descida. Ele afina muito, perde estrutura na parte distal do carpo. Estrangulado, obrigado.
Pete can explain it very well. Yeah, no, but you can do it.
Do you understand?
No. Ask me
Marcelo.
again.
Só pra. Tô perguntando o que ele acha desse carpo dele do direito, do esquerdo. Se olhar a parte interna, você vê que é diferente de tamanho.
The right one, it's a little, it's in his opinion, the right one, it's a little more height than the
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I agree. It's
But,
good. Yeah.
here and the,
Okay, it's in the sand.
we can.
Yeah, but the right leg is actually better than the left leg. So that's why the question was from Stein. I said the left leg is borderline acceptable, not for the sport, but as a stallion. I mean, now we talk for you want to have a stallion, you want to have a perfect leg, because that's the leg he always have to land on. He have to move. It's very important. If you stand for the horse, I mean, it's quite straight, but you see that leg stands perfect. That leg is it's a bit everything. It's very important that you have two of the same legs. So, and any question is a good question. So I agree, and it's not that I'm Jesus. I know everything. No, but I tell you my history. I was for 12 years I was blacksmith, and I was very lucky. I had my teacher was a professor from the university, and he was a horseman. He was, he was he teach me everything. Let's say from this level down, behind down. He teach me everything. So I was 3.5 years holding horses and looking, and so that was also like this. This I like. When so this is for me a very good thing. The foot is a little bit like if you put it's okay. If you put like paint, the thing for the paint, it should go like this, round this part, it should go. So then because it's the horse always get trouble with the weak parts, it's this is actually, let's say, he has 2 legs, but he has one very good leg, and this is a little bit from everything, it's but okay, it's like this, that. But as a sport horse, it's also better when you have 2 beautiful legs, but as a stallion, it's a must, it's a. And again, we talked about standing like this, but like this, it's always they hurt themselves. Like this, is as a stallion you don't want, but in the sport it will nearly never break, because But it's another way of they they hurt from experience. And then I think the shoulder is nice, if you divide also the horse, if you look at the horse, this part and this part, the horse, you have to make a little bit in 3 parts. So you take, comes to me, little bit, one step back, one step. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not so.
No, but it's okay. If you have a difficult horse, you put many people around, because then they don't know where it comes from. Huh? If you only have one person, they know they can. But now he has too many people. But also the horse, you put, you think a little bit like this, the same length here and the same length there. It's if you look for the perfect horse, I think it's important. And the rest, of course, the horse is young, has not so much muscle, but the frame actually is quite good. If you can you stand on this? Yeah. So no, it's okay, but only yourself. Homa, it's good. Oh, yeah. Maybe one step forward.
Passo para frente.
Oh, Homa, that's good. Yeah. If you look at it, especially for a young horse, then it's quite quite one line. It's quite one line. It's nice. And the hock is already big enough. But it's very important that that this is possible. That when he stands like this, he stands very easy. He stands very easy. It's okay, and it's so those things. When you look at the horse, you look quick at the horse, and of course you look down, but the rest, you take the horse in 3 parts. And then the neck. Okay, I mean he's a young horse, but he can easy. Easy. Come on. He can easy move this part. You should put the fist so that it's open enough that he to breathe. Little things like this is very simple actually. So, and then of course the movement. And like we discussed behind. This one is quite good. It's he's not standing like this or like that. He's for sure, if he moves good behind. And then the rest is, especially for a young horse, I think is quite, except he's not worked, not trained, but the frame is there to be a correct horse. Yeah. And of course, always you look at the head, you look at the eye, the expression. That's also a thing. The horse has to have a good expression, in his face. That's very important. As a stallion, I mean, you don't want, like big heads and round, but that's everybody his own thing. Yeah. Maybe we should walk him one time and then you trot him one time.
Passo.
Just walk. Just walk up and down.
How about just dorsal line a little bit?
So
The dorsal line a little bit.
the
Down. The
the,
dorsal.
the
Back. Top line.
yeah, as a stallion, yes, but as a stallion because he has no muscle, so it's
Yeah.
and especially with the young horse, today he's a little bit like that, and then he's growing in front again. But I agree, it's a little things like that. Yes, you have to look at it. If you look at it, he walks very easy, quite straight. He's not swinging out or doing like this. I think it's quite correct mover, which is important. Maybe I don't know. He can trot one time?
Trot. Bravo.
Okay, he's using quite correctly. It's not. I mean, if you want to see him correct, then you want to have him on the street. Now he's a little bit. But anyway, there's not extremely. He's not extremely missing his legs. It's just yeah. In general, he has quite good frame. As a sport horse, as a stallion, it's a different. For me, it's a different. Then he should have a little bit more. Oh, a little bit more front. Like this. He should have a bit more already as a young horse, more frame. But the rest is there to grow. He's this part. It's wide enough. It's not a pony. It's a. And how old is the horse? Three already. Coming three or
Coming three.
Coming three, yeah.
yeah, coming three. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and then of course depends how much the horse is trained. Then of course it depends, if he was always inside and worked already, or he just coming from the field and he did nothing. That's difficult to judge now. But we judge now what we see.
We explained also one time where you want to be the tail implanted in a horse. You prefer it straight or you prefer just to
Yeah, yeah. But for me, it's okay. It's actually this is quite nice,
Yeah.
quite nice. Now, when you look the horse from this side, which is important, it's a beautiful hind leg. It's yeah, and it's very natural. Let's say okay, he doesn't have the muscle, but it's a very natural following up, also from the tail. It's the tail is not up, the tail is not in. Also when he moves straight away, he's very loose in his tail. So the horse has many good things to look at, yeah, especially from this side. It's a nice front leg. It's yeah. The hock has another expression. The knees is quite big plate. That's all you need, And also the hind knee, it's on a good point. That is very important. Yeah, he moves easy. Yeah, so. And also the length from the passer and the passer is a very good example.
Excuse me?
The passer is a good example, Stijn said, because it's nice in the same degrees than the foot is, and it's if you look, it's around 45 degrees, the foot. He had good hoe zeg je de versenen, hoe zeg je dat? The backside of the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's he's standing on his feet. He's not hanging on it.
Yeah.
He's standing. Yeah. He's not like this. It's like I said. It's yeah. Very good. Thanks. Yeah.
Questions?
Of course, as Pete said,
Because, as Pete said, normally we judge them on the hard ground and never on the sand, but that's logical. That forgives the sand forgives a little bit.
Do you think, despite of his young age, that you see that he can be a little bit more muscled, more developed? Do you think he should maybe improve with a little bit of working before, or is this something a characteristic of that he
Well,
should be better?
To be honest, if this is coming at 3 years old now, then he's, let's say, a little bit behind what we have in Europe when they go to the judge and when they go, yes, they have a big neck, and they have and they work them already from 2.5 years old. They work already for half a year. They work the horse, not hard work, but they, you know, especially with young horses, they work, yes, they work light and a good way, and also because also nowadays very important is the character. So the stallion man knows that the horse is willing to work and not stupid and not against him. You know,
This horse was not trained to stand on a
no,
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's nicely young for the
yeah. It's
perfect like this.
no, it's it has many good things. Let's say like this.
Mosito, malito.
Okay.
Ok.
Thank you.
Isso aqui, bom, também
No,
pode. Como que eles avaliam? Queria saber como que eles avaliam o temperamento do cavalo como garanhão, se o brio ou eles colocam isso um peso e o sangue do cavalo.
frio de sangue.
De garanhão.
He's asking regarding the behavior. Do you also evaluate, or do you like horses with good bloody temperament? But no,
yeah, for sure. I can answer this, but it depends what you mean with bloody temperament. You mean the temperament from a thought just to go and run, or you need the temperament from a worker, who is, even when he's tired, he wants to work, he wants to go. That temperament, yes, a working horse, work, but we don't like just that. They only want to run. But it's different. But like a blood horse, a race horse, he should keep going just without but that's I don't want to say, but without thinking, a thoroughbred, but our horses, they have to keep thinking, even if they are hot, because they have to every so many seconds they have to jump a fence. So yes, they need blood. We need blood. We need electricity. We need elastic. Very loose.
Sparse. What do you think about this department?
We cannot see. We can see. I think we can see a lot by free jumping. If the horse goes by himself, and he keep going, or every time you have to get him in the corner and you have to make him go, and you understand. But those two things goes off together. A horse which is a good jumper, for him is defense. For him is defense not a problem. So he likes to go. He in the corner already. He wants to go. But if a horse is not a good jumper, it's the same as if you are not a good in school, you don't like to go to school. But if you can learn easy, then you go to school and you go like that. So most of the time that goes together. It's not that the character says I don't want to go, but they don't like it because they don't know the job. They don't understand the job. And that's then it's even they have the best bloodline and everything, but if they don't understand it, then they don't like it, and then they don't see the solution. Even if it's this big, they I just I don't know, but yeah, Zhang said every year 50, but I mean I just for sure more than thousands of young horses jumping loose, and also I'm judging every year, let's say 3-4 times the 4 years old, where I do the final. But the ones, but that's I try to explain the answer on your question. The ones who can jump very good, they like to jump, because for them it's more or less a game, a play, and they like him, because when you do good, everybody's nice to him, But the other horse, he doesn't understand the job. Maybe he jumps every time very high, but it's not from nature, and and maybe he works as hard than the other one, but he doesn't understand the job. He doesn't. Yeah, he makes it difficult to himself, and then it's hard to keep going, when you don't understand to do the job. But a good horse, and those have mostly, they have temperament, But then we discussed already this morning. We are breeding fantastic horses now. I mean, I'm much older than you, but I mean, the last 50 years, it's unbelievable, the quality of horses, health wise, but also riding wise, it's an unbelievable, it's a totally different world, But now the next problem is we also have to breed horse people, because we have many people with horses, but not so many people who you give it 3 years old, you give this horse, and you make him a good jumping, or 5 years old, that the horse understands what to do, how to do it, and that he enjoys it. That's the next step, again, to teach people. So I still think that, and that we lose many good horses by not good people, by not people who understand or can see the horse what he wants, and how to solve the problem, or how to take care that there are no problems coming, so that the horse every time understands the next step. And but that has nothing to do with judging a horse as a vet for the stallions, but that's the next step for, it's very easy to say that's a shit horse if you don't know the history, because maybe it was a top horse as a 4 years old, but the people didn't understand, and then so then the whole thing goes against the horse instead of going good for the horse. Yeah, but important, yes. Your question, yes, they have. You must have blood. You must have the horse must have the drive to go. And we have to support that. We have to tell them, yes, that's what we want. Instead of being, tell them not to do it. Say, yes, we have to motivate. We have to teach them how to use that blood. How to use that work drift. Yeah, very important. Yeah.
I would prefer to see this type a little bit of horse, this type of horse, than the real heavy
Yes.
stallion types. We are going more and more towards more the sport type of stallions. It's still in the mind of a lot of people that a stallion needs to be massive, but we are leaning more and more towards this sport stallion type.
Yeah.
That's also important.
That's very important. Also, and that's also maybe, I think, the luck of our sport, that, let's say, in my days, and now, let's say 50 years ago, there was a class jumping, and there was maybe one girl. Now you have classes, it's maybe 80% girls. That's our luck. Otherwise, maybe they would stop, our sport to sit on a horse. But the good thing is, if this little girl can win from me, or any good rider, then they say, it cannot, they are, so that's good. That because we are the only sport that the woman is equal with the man. That's the only sport which is unbelievable. So that helps us, and they are very good. The ladies are very good in bringing in the media and whatever the let's say the love of the horse. So we also can do, but we don't do that. But the girls, they do. They huh? Yeah, it's true. It's stupid. We should do, because it's for the sport. But and that's why the answer on this is we need more light horses, because like 50 years ago we were on a tractor, we were pulling and kicking and a sharp bit and long spurs, and every day you have to start from zero. But now these horses, you teach them something and they know for life. They know, like the same when you put a halter on the first time and you do it correctly. The whole the life you go to in the field and you put the halter and you take the horse home. It's so it's very important that you do everything. The next step, you do it correctly, that he understands, and then you always have the horse on your side. Yeah, and then yes, then you need that blood. They say, okay, hey, I understand. Come, let's go. Where, and that makes that's the beautiful thing of our sport. Yeah. But yes, we need blood. We need light horses and correct horses. Because there is no those girls. They sit on the horse, and also those riders now. The good, they have no time to collect and to push and do because you have to jump 15 fences in 60 seconds. So you have every 4 seconds there is a jump.
Word. Is it your shine? Do you need a minimum size to approve a stadium?
I mean, size, right?
Minimum
Height,
size.
We normally we always say that it has to be at least 162, 163. We don't go smaller than that. That's something that we keep in mind. But
Everybody talking about it's possible.
I think in Brazil it's you watch more the size than we do in Europe. Okay, we say for Zangerzijde as a stallion they can't be smaller than 162, 63, but we have a lot of good sport horses that were smaller when they're small, but they have enough length. I don't think it should be a big problem. But in Brazil, you like the big horses. For Zangerzijde, we don't go under 162, 163 normally.
That?
Yeah.
With which age? Because don't you think that for those years, 10 years from here, horses are becoming higher, a little older? Like, I see some horses with 4.5, they go to the sport, and with 4.5 to 5, they grow.
Yeah,
They're
yeah, that's true. That's true. And okay, when we refuse a horse, they can always come back. But again, what I said about the OCD, when you don't know it, you don't see it. We have to judge it at the moment. And when a horse is 156, and the owner tells me, yeah, but he will grow up to 170, we don't know. So we judge. For us, we say at 162, 63, they have to be. Yeah.
The best example is Tommy Fox.
Uh-huh.
He was very small. He was like really like a pony. I was there, he was 2.5 years old, and for sure, if it was not gone out of Latina, it would never be a book. The good thing was down. He was very correct, of course. He has small feet, but just not feet like this, just a little bit. So, but and he's quite, it's quite movable there. It's okay. He talks a little bit like a pony, but it's an amazing jumper. And they gave him the benefit of the doubt, I think, and he became one of the best talents, now at the moment. So yes, and at the end he's big enough now. I think he's 67 even. But when he was 3 years old, you think that if it was not Gordon and Fortuna, nobody would even think about being good. But, down he was okay. Plus he was quite young, and he was an amazing jumper. So yes, they gave him the benefit, and they became. Good confirmation, good. And you look for the good horse, Also, of course, the good breeding, but I mean, it's yeah. But you always you will keep one, well, let's say one small one, one big one, and still a very good breeder. It's but you're not looking for that. You're not looking for the small one. You're not looking. But in case it's a crack, yeah, why not? Who are we to say, yeah, you're too small, you're too big? It's as long as they're correct, and from a very good family. Yeah. Yeah.
Na aprovação disso tem aprovação. Se por mérito tem que passar pelo mesmo processo. Pode ser mérito.
Do you have some horses that don't are
Very
approved,
first time.
that they are not approved in the stallion show, and with those results, they became stallions?
Yeah.
How does it work? How is the criteria?
Sometimes you have horses that you can't judge in freedom. Maybe the training was not so good, or the horse is not ready for it. And then we ask the breeder, okay, we don't approve your horse now, but let's say in a year or in 2 years' time, when the horse is under saddle, maybe he's ready for it, and you can come back to show him. On the condition that, of course, the conformation and the X-rays were correct. When it's only the jumping, and when it's not working the first time in freedom, they can come back under saddle, and then we can approve them.
Have understood any criteria that if the horse is gold medal in Olympic Games, or he jumped 10 times 160 Grand Prix and win 3.
Yeah.
Do you have any criteria?
We have for the sport horses we have. So, for example, the young horses at the World Championship in Lanaken, the horses that go to the finals and have good X-rays and good conformation, they are approved. We don't have to see them jumping. When a young 5-year-old goes to the finals, we approve them.
6 to the finals.
Yeah.
He's a stallion.
5, 6, 7 years, we approve them, but we need to see the X-rays, we need to see the horse, but then we approve him. And of course, a horse that is, we have some rules. I think it's when a horse is placed at least 8 times in a 145 class, or 5 times in the top 3 or 5, we approve him on condition that the X-rays are okay. So we have some rules for that.
You were meaning your question was, let's say, as a 2 or 3 years old, we didn't accept him.
No,
Like
the horse
he was
didn't-
sound, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah.
And
he didn't come.
I think it
Yeah.
happens with
And then
Cardento,
through the
no?
sport,
I think
Because
Cardento
horses
is
yes,
good, and
stallion
yes,
show,
the same
don't
horse
be-
which
I
we
don't
didn't
remember,
accept.
but no.
As a
There
3
are a
years old,
few
maybe at the 6 years old,
nice
7 years old, we
examples.
accept.
Mosito,
Yes.
he was not
Yes.
approved.
And then this
BWP
criteria
approved
is like that.
and got approved later on.
Yeah.
But it passes to the morphological
Yeah.
X-ray.
Yeah. Sometimes the horse is very late, you know. Like a 3 years old is like a baby.
Mosito was not
cannot-
approved as a
He
3-year-old
jumped maybe
for
3
the
times good, and then
BWP because they said
but
our
then
model is
later,
too
by work,
old school model.
uh-huh.
And then later on, like he proved to be such a good jumper that the judges re-decided to approve him. Mumbai from Christian Kukuk was out at the age of 3, got approved at the age of 7 because performing really well. Impress K from Thibaut Spitz was out at the age of 2.5, and now jumping amazing at the 160 level. Was straight away elite stallion for BWP. They said, sorry, we had our reasons not to do it at the age of 2.5. Also, model wise and jumping wise was just difficult to see. And then they came back to the words and said, hey, we would like to approve because we actually missed. But there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's every year can be a change and everything can be rediscussed.
So that, as a future judge, it's happens. You know, it's not that you miss a horse. No, you judge what you see. You know, that's the most honest thing. You know, because of course you can hope that he's going to grow, and you can hope that he's going to jump, but that's not what you see. So you cannot judge. You know, so yes, for sure, if you're going to judge, we're going to miss. We're going to miss the horse that maybe later going to be a good horse, and also we're going to think that's a real good horse, and at the end it's a very normal horse. That if you are a judge, you have to live with that, you know. But as long as you do it for yourself and you do it honest, and you think by yourself, I look from head to tail, from the wrist till the ground, I look the whole horse, and I judge it. For my own opinion, I did everything, and then later the horse didn't become what it was. That's not the fault from the judge always. You know, it's they say, yeah, but how can they judge that horse? Yeah, we judge that horse. We gave him points and everything, and yes, he became, you know, he became a pro stallion. But then the question is, who gonna work the horse? Where, you know? So we have no influence on that, you know. So, and the other horse, you think, okay, the blood is good, but and we judge it, and he comes to the right people, and he becomes a crack. But yeah, it's but you have to live with that. I mean, as a judge, you have to be honest for yourself. Say, listen, this is what I like, and maybe not, but the rest I like very much. Okay, then yes, he's approved. Finished. It's you can make it as difficult as you want, but you just straight, and I think it's very
It's
easy.
important what Pete says, and follow your own
Yes.
vision. Be honest for yourself, because you will get, as a judge, you will get a lot of influences from owners and breeders, and everybody will try to push you, and they will say, "Oh, but that one is not a good judge, and he did not see it, and you don't know a horse." But if you follow your own vision and be honest and not make them put